Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your NFL Fade the Public video for week number 17, this Sunday, January 1st, 2023. It's a new year. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Let's look at the most public plays for week 17. Later in the season, Fading the Public usually works pretty well. I started this video over 2 years ago, November of 2020. We went 31-8 for the rest of the season through the Super Bowl that year. We've done it every week in the last couple seasons since, and I've always said it works better later in the season. That was definitely the case last week. Fading the Public went 6-3 here on this video on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day the day after. So 6-3, 67% last weekend. Fading the Public in week 16. We'll see if it works as well here in week 17. I've got 7 public sides for you, 4 official sides and 3 additional leans for you here in week number 17, covering both Sunday and Monday night football. In fact, I've got both the Sunday night and Monday night games for you, so whether you're joining us early or late, plenty of opportunity to fade the public here in week 17. Quick reminder, the football season might be winding down, but this is an excellent time of the year to make money. In fact, last Saturday on Christmas Eve, the full NFL slate last Saturday, perfect 4-0 sweep for my best bets for my clients at WagerTalk. In fact, Saturday and Sunday combined last weekend, 5-1, 83% on my NFL best bets. I've got a super strong card for this Sunday, January the 1st. Go get those NFL best bets right now on my page, SteveMerril, and be sure to check out the special package for the rest of the NFL season. It's just $199, and if you sign up this weekend, I'm including the rest of the college bowls for free. That's an additional $100 value included for free. Hey, if you're joining us on Saturday when this video went up, I've got 3 bowl best bets for Saturday. There's also 4 bowl games on the schedule on Monday, January 2nd. And don't forget the national title game is a week from this Monday as well on January 9th. So plenty of bowl action remains. Get every remaining college football bowl selection, including the national title game, for free when you get my NFL season package right now. $199 gets it all. It's normally $300 combined. Get it for just $199. No promo code needed. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, let's look at the most public plays for this Sunday, January the 1st, week 17 of the regular season. We'll start with the early games. We've got 2 very public sides on the early games. Both are favorites. We're going to start with what I think is maybe the most public play of the week, one of the most public plays I've seen all season, and that's the New York Giants at 1 o'clock Eastern. New York Giants currently, as we head into the weekend, a 5.5-point favorite at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Total has dropped quite a bit from 41.5 down to 39. Weather doesn't really look like it's going to be an issue this week in the Northeast. Of course, last week, tremendous weather problems in the NFL. Not as much so this week, yet this total has dropped quite a bit, and that's mainly because the Colts are struggling offensively. I know they had those 33 points against Minnesota 2 Saturdays ago, and then they blew the biggest lead in NFL history. They blew that 33-0 lead against the Vikings. They obviously came out flat last week against the Chargers at home, losing 20-3. Nick Foles made his debut this season for the Colts at quarterback. He did not play well last week. A terrible outing by Nick Foles. 3 interceptions in that game. However, for his career, he's been an above-average quarterback, of course, with the Eagles, the majority of those successful years. First start for the Colts last week did not go well. We'll see if he plays better this week. The public is not expecting that. And by the way the Giants win this game, they do clinch a playoff berth. They clinch a wild card playoff berth with a win, so they have plenty on the line here. But the Giants have had trouble winning in recent weeks. This team has gone just 1-4-1. They've only won once in their last 6 games. That was against the Commanders on Monday night as an underdog. Came back and lost to the Vikings in a close game last week. We'll see if they can get back on track this week. Public does not think so, or rather the public does think so. And the public is heavy on the Giants this week, going against a Colts team that's lost 5 straight. Another very public play at 1 o'clock Eastern, also in the NFC East, is the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are also one of the most public plays this week in Week 17. And that's despite the fact they probably will not have Jalen Hurts at quarterback for the 2nd straight week. Public has not cared. They backed the Eagles last week and just missed out as a 4.5-point dog. Philadelphia lost by 6. Public doesn't care. They're coming right back with the Eagles. And most likely, Jalen Hurts going into the weekend is listed as doubtful with the shoulder injury. That means Minshew will most likely be a quarterback once again. And 2nd straight week, he'll get the start for Philly. He played extremely well last week in his first start of the season. That, of course, Gardner Minshew from Washington State. Who wears short shorts? Minshew wears short shorts. Those of you remember his rookie season at Jacksonville, he had the short cutoff jean shorts on. And all seriousness, this guy's had a pretty good NFL career. He appeared in 4 games last year for the Eagles, had a 105 QB rating in those 4 games. Very limited action, 60 pass attempts. 26 for 44 last week against the Cowboys, or overall this season for the Eagles in 4 games as well. And he played extremely well last week against Dallas. That's not the reason they lost that game. Philadelphia defense is the reason, giving up 40 points. Eagles are in the same situation they were in last week. All they have to do is win once the remainder of the season. They get the number 1 seed in the first round bye. They did not do so last week. If they do so this week against the Saints, they will be the number 1 seed. Otherwise, they'll have to beat the Giants next week to lock it up. So Philly, I think, is being extra cautious with Jalen Hurts. He did have some limited practice this week. Most likely, though, Minshew is a very capable backup, former starter for the Jaguars, will be a quarterback this week. And the public likes the Eagles. Meanwhile, the Saints will have Andy Dalton at quarterback once again. He's been basically the starter since week 4, and Dalton's actually had a pretty good season overall. He's a very capable veteran quarterback. His numbers have been solid this year, and New Orleans here coming in off back-to-back straight-up wins over the Falcons and Browns. Of course, the weather game last week, Dalton only had 15 pass attempts, did not have good numbers, but once again, kind of have to scratch that game. He played very well against Atlanta the week before with 214 passing yards, 232 passing yards the game before that at Tampa, a 1-point loss. So the Saints have gone 2-1 straight up with their only loss coming by a single point. In fact, they've only lost once in the last 5 weeks by more than a single point, and that loss came to San Francisco 13-0. So the Saints are playing pretty good football. Public doesn't care, though. They're backing the Eagles in a bounce-back spot. Public thinks the Eagles get the win and the number 1 seed and the first round bye. Okay, those are the 2 most public plays at 1 o'clock Eastern on the early card. There's one other game that qualifies as an additional public lean. It's actually a public underdog, and that's the Carolina Panthers. So red flag alert, a little bit of a public lean on the Carolina Panthers, fading the Buccaneers. This line currently Carolina +4. Look-ahead line a week ago was as high as +7. Tampa obviously having some real problems this year. Yet, despite the fact they vastly underachieved, they barely got by Arizona, won but failed to cover on Sunday night. Tampa still controls their own destiny. If they win this game, they actually clinch the NFC South, and they clinch a home playoff game, which means they can actually rest their starters next week at Atlanta. So it's a pretty crazy scenario. In fact, if the playoffs were to begin right now, Tampa would be the 4 seed, and despite very well maybe having a losing record on the season, Tampa Bay would host a playoff game against the current 12-4 Dallas Cowboys. So as it stands now, the 7-8 Buccaneers would be the 4 seed and host a playoff game against the 12-4 Cowboys, who would be the wild card right now behind the Eagles in that ultra-competitive NFC East. By the way, the Commanders and Giants would be the 6-7 seeds. Giants and then Commanders is the 7 seed. So 4 teams from the NFC East are in the playoffs as we head into Week 17. Of course, that might change a bit, but it just shows how crazy some of these divisions have been this season. Hey, let me know what you think of the playoff format in the comments below. 7 teams make the playoffs, same format as last year. 7 teams make it from each conference. Only the number 1 seed gets the bye nowadays. Right now, that would be the Eagles in the NFC if they win this week or next. They just have to win one of the final 2 games. The Buffalo Bills are currently the 1 seed in the AFC ahead of the Chiefs. And, of course, those teams are tied, but the Bills won at Kansas City this year, so they do hold the tiebreaker. So if Buffalo wins on Monday night and the Chiefs lose to Denver, which is unlikely, then Buffalo could clinch the number 1 this week. Otherwise, they're going to probably have to win next week as well. Let me know your thoughts on the playoff format. The 1 team gets the bye. The other 6 teams have to play. The 3 division winners automatically get home games. Right now, Minnesota and San Francisco have locked up the divisions in the NFC. They are guaranteed home games. Kansas City and Buffalo are guaranteed home games. One of them most likely will, of course, be the number 1 seed. Cincinnati also has locked up a home game in the Central Division. They could still get the number 1 seed, but not as likely. All right, let's look at the 4 o'clock Eastern games here in just a moment. Also, 3 additional public plays here on the Sunday card, the Monday Night Football game coming up. Just a quick reminder, the rest of the NFL season is just $1.99. That's a fantastic offer. It gets you all of my best bets for Week 16 here next week, or Week 17 rather. Gets next week, Week 18 as well, and then all of the playoffs for January through the Super Bowl in February. Everything for $1.99. That offer is available right now, but this weekend, if you sign up, you get the rest of the college bowls, an additional $100 value included for free. If you're joining us on Saturday, that gets my 3 strong best bets for Saturday bowl action, including both national semifinal playoff games between Michigan TCU at 4 Eastern and also the Ohio State-Georgia game at 8 Eastern. So if you're joining us on Saturday afternoon, not too late, get to those two national semifinal best bets. Hey, if you're joining us on Sunday or even on Monday, not too late to get some great value still, because there are 4 bowl games on Monday, January the 2nd. The New Year's Day games are pushed back a day later to Monday this week. And then, of course, a week from now, the national championship game, Monday, January 9th, is included as well. So get the rest of the bowls, a $100 value for free when you buy that NFL season package right now for just $199. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. No promo code needed. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. All right, I gave you the 3 most public plays on the early card at 1 o'clock Eastern. Once again, the Giants and Eagles, heavy public favorites, and additional public lean on the Carolina Panthers. Let's look at the 4 o'clock Eastern game, and we have one very public side at 4 Eastern, a favorite, and that's the San Francisco 49ers. Another one of the most public sides I've seen this season is San Francisco, and it's not a surprise as the public is playing against the Las Vegas Raiders, who announced earlier this week on Wednesday that they are benching Derek Carr, franchise quarterback, for their final 2 games of the season. Jarrett Stidham will get the start. He's been awful in limited snaps during his career, both preseason and regular season. So Jarrett Stidham is a huge downgrade, obviously, at quarterback for the Raiders. They say they're looking to the future, but the main reason they're doing this is because Derek Carr has a clause in his contract, his 3-year extension that was signed this offseason, whereas if he gets injured, he's guaranteed all the full money. So the Raiders do not want to run any risk of him getting injured these final 2 games, since they're basically out of the playoffs. There's a small chance they could still make it. It's not likely. And this means Carr will probably be cut after the season, so they don't have to continue with this hefty contract. They only take like a $5 million hit towards the salary cap. So the reason the Raiders are doing this is not because they think Jarrett Stidham is going to be a good quarterback. It's because they don't want Carr to get injured. They're tossing the towel in the season. So really hard to make a case for him. However, with that said, the betting markets, the odds makers, the line value has obviously shifted greatly in this game. The look-ahead line is going to be San Francisco minus 4.5. Now without Derek Carr, it's 9.5. So we're talking about a 5-point adjustment based on the quarterback situation. It's pretty substantial. Las Vegas plus 9.5 is the contrarian side in this game, to say the least. San Francisco playing excellent football, and I really think they probably are the team to beat in the NFC right now. By the way, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who do you think are the teams to beat in the AFC and the NFC? As of now, the Eagles and the Bills, as I mentioned, would be the number 1 seeds. I think San Francisco is really dangerous as well, especially with what I think is probably the most consistent and best defense. And Purdy is playing really good at quarterback as a rookie, 3rd stringer, and he's been as good as anybody, Jimmy G, Trey Lance. So they really don't have to worry about the quarterback situation, as other teams are so dependent, like Jalen Hurts, for example, being out the last couple games. So I think San Francisco looks like the team to beat, but let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. As far as this game, once again, it's hard to make a case for the Raiders other than adjusted line value. This line is now 9.5 versus 4.5. 49ers in excellent current form, 6 straight covers in a row. They've failed to cover this point spread since mid-November. They've now covered 6 straight games since mid-November. Excellent current form. They've been a medium-sized favorite in most of the games, and they've won by double digits every single time. So once again, the line's gone from 4.5 to 9.5, but the 49ers have won 6 straight games and covers, all by double digits. So hard to make a case for the Raiders. They are obviously a anti-public play this week. Public very heavy on San Francisco, one of the more public sides I've seen this season. All right, now we're going to look at 3 other public leans this week. Now, once again, your 4 official public sides this week. Or actually, I'm sorry, we got one more here I got to get to here. The biggest public dog of the week also goes at 4 o'clock Eastern, and that's actually the Seattle Seahawks. One official public dog this week, and that's Seattle plus the 1.5. Public likes the Seahawks as a home dog, and it's understandable why. Seattle's always had one of the strongest home fields in the NFL, and this season at home, they're just 3-4 versus 4-4 on the road. So the home field hasn't quite been there this year, and Seattle's a team that vastly overachieved at the beginning of the season. Geno Smith having an excellent year. He continues to play well. In fact, the last 2 seasons with Seattle, he's been really good. It's ironic that he's playing the Jets now, because keep in mind, his first 4 seasons in the NFL, 2013 through 16, was with the New York Jets. In fact, he started 16 games for the Jets in 13 of the 14 appearances in 2014 were starts. He had 29 starts for this New York Jets team in 2013 and 14. And then over the next 6 seasons, Geno Smith only had 5 starts over 6 seasons, including 3 last year for Seattle. Now he started all 15 games. So it's really a bookend of his career between the Jets and Seahawks, and he'll face his former team this Sunday afternoon as he takes on the New York Jets. And Mike White, the most generic name in all of sports, Mike White will be back for quarterback for the New York Jets after missing the past 2 weeks. And all seriousness, White has not been bad. He had a fantastic game in his first start back in Week 12 against the Bears, that easy 31-10 home win right after Thanksgiving, 149.3 quarterback rating. Did not do as well the following 2 weeks, so he really came back down to earth with a 59.8 and a 78.6 rating against the Vikings and Bills. And then he's been out the last 2 weeks, and the Jets have lost both games to the Lions and Jags. In fact, the Jets now enter on a 4-game losing streak and just 1-3 ATS. Really ugly performance last Thursday night against Jacksonville, putting up just 3 points as a home favorite. We'll see if Mike White and the Jets bounce back this week. But once again, the public likes Seattle, which is a little surprising because Seattle's been a huge money burner over the past couple months. In fact, going back to mid-November, the Seahawks have lost 5 of their last 6 straight up, and they're 0-6 against the spread. And they've been a dog of 3 or less, or a favorite in 5 of those 6 games. So, huge money burner. We played against them last week, actually. The public was on Seattle last week, if you remember, against Kansas City, and that did not work out. Kansas City got up to the big lead. Seattle ended up losing by 14. Public coming right back with the Seahawks this week, and they are the most public underdog for week number 16. The Seattle Seahawks, a home dog, getting some public love on Sunday afternoon. All right, now those are the 4 official public sides. Once again, on the early card, the Giants and Eagles. On the late card, the 49ers and Seahawks. Those are your 4 official public sides for week 17. I gave you the 1 public lean on the Panthers on the early card. I've got 3 more additional public leans for you for both the late card and Sunday and Monday Night Football. Let's look first at the late card on Sunday. And actually, we're going to get straight to the 2 late games. I'm confusing myself here. We have the 4 official plays, the 1 additional leans. I've given you 5, so I got 2 more. So it's Sunday night and Monday Night Football. So once again, the 4 official sides are the Giants and the Eagles on the early card, the 49ers and Seahawks on the late card, and then once again, an additional lean, again, there's just a bit outside from making the cut, would have been the Panthers as a public dog. We've got additional public leans on both the Sunday night and Monday Night Football games as well. Let's look at the Sunday night game first, and that game, of course, it's Pittsburgh against Baltimore, one of the most heated rivals in the NFL in that ultra-competitive NFC North division. And the public likes the dog here. This is a public lean, an additional lean here, another public dog lean this week on the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road as the 2.5-point dog at Baltimore. And this game was flexed into Sunday night. I think the Charger-Ram game was probably going to be the initial Sunday night game. That got flexed out. And the Steeler-Ravens game gets moved from 1 o'clock Eastern to the late game at 8:20 Eastern Sunday night. And the public is leaning towards the Steelers. Keep in mind, last week, public was leaning towards the Falcons and fading the Ravens. That did not work out. Baltimore squeaked out the narrow cover in that game, winning by 8 as a 6.5-point favorite. And now, once again, the public is fading the Ravens once again in week number 17 here. And backing the Steelers, who have been in pretty good current form, covering and winning 4 of their last 5 straight up in ATS. In fact, the Steelers' only loss during the last 5 games came by just 2 points as a slight home favorite against the Ravens, and now they're getting 2.5 in the rematch. So very understandable why the public likes the Steelers here. Pittsburgh's taking excellent care of the football, by the way. They have no turnovers in 5 of their last 7 games and just 4 turnovers total in those last 7 games. I think a little bit of that, though, is random variance. And on the road, hostile environment Sunday night, not be surprised to see Pittsburgh turn the ball over this week. And they've also got rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett back at the helm. He's been pretty mediocre this year. He did not play against the Panthers in the win in Week 15. He did play in the win against the Raiders last week. He did have an interception, by the way, but he had no interceptions in his previous 5 appearances. Four games he started before that, no turnovers as well. So he's been pretty good at taking care of the ball, but very mediocre numbers, averaging just barely over 6 yards per pass, mid-80 quarterback rating for the most part. So he's been pretty serviceable as a rookie and actually probably been better than Tyler Huntley. And that's another reason the public is fading the Ravens again, is because once again, for the 4th straight week, Lamar Jackson is out at quarterback, which means backup Tyler Huntley will get the start once again. It's his 3rd season with the Ravens. He appeared in 9 total games the first 2 years. Very mediocre results, QB rating of around 70. And so far this season, he's appeared in 5 games, quarterback rating of 76.6, which is exactly what his career average is. His real problem, though, is he's not a downfield threat. In fact, over the 3 seasons with Baltimore, he's averaging 5.7 yards per pass attempt. And this year in the 5 games, 91 pass attempts. He's averaged just 5.8 yards per pass attempt. So that's what's hurt this Baltimore offense. Not only did they miss the explosiveness of Lamar Jackson on the ground, but they also missed it through the air. And Baltimore is struggling. Last 4 games, they have scored 17 or less in every game. Remarkably, they found a way to win 3 of those 4 despite scoring 17 or less every time. And that's because the defense has been in excellent current form. Baltimore's defense has held the last 4 opponents to, just 27 and 18, 45 total points, 9, 14, 13, and 9. We'll see if that continues against a somewhat challenged Pittsburgh offense, by the way, that has scored 19 or less in 3 of their last 4 games. So you can understand why this total has gone from as high as 42 in the look-ahead down to 35. 7-point adjustment, but it makes sense because both offenses are really struggling right now, and that's your Sunday night game. Public is leaning towards Pittsburgh Steelers as a public dog. All right, one other primetime game to talk about, the Monday Night Football game. We'll get to that in just a moment. Quick reminder, get the rest of the college football bowls, including the National Championship, for free when you sign up for my NFL package. $199 gets the rest of the football season, college and pro combined. That's a $100 discount off the normal price. No promo code needed. Go to my page right now to sign up. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. All right, let's look at the Monday Night Football game between the Bills and Bengals, one of the bigger games of the season. Both teams still alive for that number 1 seed. You know, I mentioned that Buffalo is currently the number 1 seed ahead of Kansas City due to the tiebreaker. If the Bills win this game and if somehow the Chiefs loses a 12.5-point favorite to Denver, Buffalo clinches the number 1. But don't look now. The Bengals just a half a game back because they have that tie, 11-4-1 on the season. And this is a team that still could sneak into the number 1 seed, and obviously beating Buffalo would be a big step towards doing that. And the public thinks they have a chance, actually. The public is leaning towards Cincinnati on Monday Night Football, so this is another one of those public underdog leans. You know, I gave you 4 official public sides this week, 3 favorites and a dog. 3 additional leans are all public underdog leans, and of course it's always a red flag when the public is leaning towards dogs, so definitely wanted to point this out to you because it applies to both the Sunday and the Monday night games this week. Public is leaning towards the Bengals +1. Now, once again, a slight dog, so it's not a huge public underdog lean. The Cincinnati's only +1, but they are getting some public love, and it's understandable why. I mean, Joe Burrow continues to cover point spreads. I think he's now 21-3 against the number the past couple of seasons. This guy's a winner at all levels. He did it at LSU, stepped right in and wins the national championship a few years ago. So fully understand why the public is back in Cincinnati, and it is hard to fade a Bengals team that has just been covering night and day since all the way back to October, winning straight up in ATS every game since, and now they're getting a point. So fully understand why the public is backing them. Both offenses in pretty good current form. Might be a little bit of rain. We'll keep an eye on the weather, but nothing that should affect scoring too much. Buffalo has routinely put up 30+ in half of their games the last couple months. Bengals have put up in the mid to high 20s or more in every one of their games the last couple months. So 2 teams that are moving the ball pretty well and passing the ball well. So we'll keep an eye on the weather and see if that will affect scoring. Very high total. You know, we talked about the Sunday night game. The total was 35. Exact opposite here. This total 49 at open. Now it's 49.5. And once again, the Bengals +1 are getting us some public sentiment. I'd call that an additional public lean on Monday Night Football. All right, 7 public sides for you on Sunday and Monday. 4 official plays, 3 additional leans for you. Hope you found this information useful as always. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the bell for instant alerts when this NFL Fade the Public video goes up each and every week. We will continue this throughout the playoffs every week and the Super Bowl, so you want to pay attention to the NFL Fade the Public series. It does quite well late in the season. Went 6-3 last week. We'll see how it does with these 7 plays this week in Week 17. Don't forget, if you're joining me on Saturday, I do have a college football preview video for 3 of the games Saturday and also 2 of the games Monday. So even if you're joining us Sunday or even Monday here, be sure to check out my college football Top 25 Bowl Edition, which previews 3 Saturday games and 2 of the Monday, January 2nd games as well. I preview the Tulane USC game and the Penn State Utah game on the Monday card, so it's not too late to check out that video. And don't forget, speaking of the bowls, get the rest of the college football season for free. That's a $100 value for free. Everything through the national championship next week, the remaining bowl games for free. When you purchase the NFL, $199 gets everything for the rest of the football season through the Super Bowl in February, including all of my strong best bets this Sunday. Don't forget, last weekend, Saturday and Sunday in the NFL, 5-1, 83% on best bets. We're looking to have another huge week here in Week 16. Get the NFL and college football for the rest of the year for a very special price. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, and most importantly, leave me comments below. I love my comments. I read each and every one, and I reply back. Happy New Year. Let me know your New Year's traditions. If you have any special foods that you eat on January 1st, let me know how you spent your New Year's Eve, how it went, if you did anything exciting. And also, let me know where you agree or disagree with the public this week. Hey, look, the public's not always wrong. We use this as a filter. It's a factor, part of the handicapping process. Let me know where you agree or disagree with the public. Throw in those 6-point teasers. I love those 6-point teasers in the NFL. By the way, 75% of all NFL games this season have been decided by 7 points or less. That's another reason why NFL teasers continue to work well. Those extra 6 points do really pay off with the lines being so sharp in the most public sport of all, the NFL. And don't forget also to give me some NFL player props if you see some value this week as well. Hey, look, let's win together. It's us against the sports books. I honestly believe we have the most intelligent viewers here on WagerTalk TV. So I love your input. I love the comments, and I reply back. Like, subscribe, comment below. Most importantly, enjoy the games. Happy New Year. Best of luck. We'll talk to you again soon right here on WagerTalk TV.